it's reasonably appropriate to tell a gambling story. But as a lead into that gambling story, I sort of grew up with a lot of gamblers, and I was forewarned really, and I've avoided everything but the discourse. I know how it works, and I've been sucked in once or twice, but generally speaking I miss out, and I keep my dough in my pocket. But in John's honour the other night, after a gig in Blackheath, I put $1 into one of those things where you push upon the button, and half an hour later I took 50 out. I wasn't so lucky a few years ago when I went out to a place called Warringagong Racecourse. Do you know where that is? Warringagong Racecourse is just outside of Forbes, and it's where famously Frederick Pottinger rode in a race and was watched by Ben Hall and the boys and got in a lot of strife. And they were still holding races there when I was living in Forbes. We're talking about 86 or 7, and I went back to visit just after I left school with my friend Sean. And they were running races, sure enough, but it wasn't what it used to be. In fact, in the last race, they were running a 2-horse race. There are only 2 horses going around the track. And one of the horses was running at 10 to 1. Well, you got to, don't you? You know you're a goose, you know you're a fool, you're saying goodbye to your money, but you got to. So Sean and I, we walked up to the bookies table, and there was an old fella in front of us. There wasn't many people left, but there was an old person in front of us, and he took out a $50 note. He didn't look like he'd seen many $50 notes in his life, I've got to say. He had the arse out of his pants, and he looked like he was a bit hard up. Mind you, so were we. But anyway, he put $50 down on the table, and he said, "I'll have $50 on the 10 to 1 shot, please." And the bookie sort of started writing out a ticket, and he looked over his glasses, this fella, and he said, "Do you want to double it?" No, first said, I can't do that. The bookie said, "Yes, you can." So he scrounged around in his pocket, and he pulled out coins, and he pulled out notes, and he counted them out, and he put another $50 on the table. And the bookie started writing out the ticket. And he said, "Do you want to make it 200? The fellow said, "You're kidding, I can't." He said, "Look, all the guys in the pub tent over there sipping beer, you know them, go round up some money and let's make it 200. And the old fella said, "Yeah, all right." So he took his hat off and he walked over to the pub tent. He walked around with his hat. We could see him over there. And all the fellas are laughing and carrying on, and they're throwing money into the hat. And he came back, sure enough, with another $100 in 1986. So he's putting another $200 on a 10 to 1 shot in a 2-horse race. And as the bookie started writing out the ticket, he looked over his glasses again at this fella, and he said, "I think there's something you should know. I own that horse." And the old fella said, "Well, it's going to be a bloody slow race because I own the other one." I learned that from John.